Guru Gaura Gandharva Govindangringanai Saha Vande Prasadato Yesam Savaramba Subankara Gauravag Vigraham Vande Gaurangam Gauravaivavam Gaura Sankirtanomatam Gaura Karunya Sundaram Guru Rupa Harim Gauram Radha Ruchi Ruchavritam Nityam Nomi Navadipe Nama Kirtana Nartanai Srimad Prabhupadambo Jamanupebhyo Namo Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Shapadantikam Nama Srestam Manamapi Sachiputra Srurupam Rupam Tasya Graja Madhupurim Maturim Gostabatim Radha Kundam Girivaramaho Radhika Madhavasam Prapto Jasya Pratita Kripaya Sri Gurun Tanmatosmi Ananda Lila Maya Vigrahaya Himavadivyachta Visundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhu Tirobhav Titi Ki Jai Srila Gauri Das Pandit Tirobhav Titi Ki Jai. This is the disappearance day of Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhu and Sri Gauri Das Pandit. Told Krishna Lilamrita Sar Tar Shata Shatadar Dasti Ke Jahavaha Hoite Se Chaitanya Lila Hoy Sarovara Akshoy Manasa Hangsa Charaha Tahate. Manasa Hangsa means the swan of our minds. And mind really, when there it means heart, means your heart, the deep heart's core. And this is at the conclusion of Madhya Lila, remembering that Kaviraj Goswami is saying, Vrindavan Das has perfectly expressed the Adi Lila, the beginning pastimes of Mahaprabhu up to and including his sannyas, and then it retires there. And really Chaitanya Charitamrita will give a very succinct Adi Lila, and then go to the Shesh Lila, which means the final pastimes of the Lord, after sannyas. And that Shesh Lila, he will divide into two, called one Madhya and one Antya. But he calls them as a whole Shesh, the final pastimes of the Lord. And in the beginning of Madhya Lila, it shows, in one sense, the dynamic living character of the pastimes and the Lord and how he deals with the devotees. Kaviraj Goswami is uncertain if he'll be able to do this. Sometimes service comes to the devotees, aspiring servitors, and they're thinking, like, I don't know if I'm able to do this. Am I qualified, or do I have the strength, the fortitude to... But if the service is approached sincerely and it's come down clearly, then, you know, extraordinary, wondrous things happen. But Kaviraj Goswami saying, why has this come to him when he's more or less in his 90s, arthritic, we could say legally blind, and he'll be the agent. Why Krishna works this way, it's more astonishing then. So I can't see, my hands are arthritic, I could leave the world at any moment. Oh, here's the proper agent to deliver this. Right? It almost underscores his own acknowledgement that he's saying, but it is not my hand. My hand is not moving by my own power, but it is Madan Gopal, Madan Mohan, who's writing these things through me. It's on that level. While he's deprecating his own position, Jagai madhai hoite muise papishta, purise rakita hoite muise lagishta. Extreme negativity on his own, saying, yet what is flowing through me and appearing on the pages of Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam, there was nothing superior to this. So in that, the beginning of Madhya Lila, fearing that he won't be able to express those things, confidential pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, witnessed by Swarup Damodar and Ramananda behind closed doors in the Gangbhira, particularly the last 12 years of Mahaprabhu's manifest pastimes. And remember, Swarup Damodar's assistant is the Prayojan Tattvacharya Raghunath Das Goswami. So what was witnessed by Swarup Damodar and recorded in his notes and expanded by Raghunath Das Goswami was transferred to Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Vrindavan, Govardhan, Radha Kunda. Right? So Das Goswami is recipient of the full wealth of Swarup Damodar, his own expansion of that substance, and then delivering it to Kaviraj Goswami, who, from what we can understand, prior to undertaking this seva, he's telling these things to the devotees, and they're astonished to hear them. And remember, these are supremely qualified personalities. What to speak of their Sanskrit knowledge, scriptural knowledge, etc. And they're very familiar with the Chaitanya Bhagavat of Vrindavanas Thakur, which we're told Haridas Pandit, he's singing that where the deity Madan Gopal is, and he's the assemblage of the Mahabhagavatas to hear from him. Told they're like stars, and he was like the moon, they're like the stars in the sky, and his singing of the Chaitanya Bhagavat was like rivers of nectar descending from the moon. That's how that assembly is described. And they all wholeheartedly are requesting, begging Kaviraj Goswami that what you're telling us, this isn't to be found anywhere, and is so extraordinary, and is not, peripheral, anecdotal, or, just adding to what is already known. What you're describing is unknown up to this point by the devotee in general. What you got from Swarup Damodar, who witnessed Mahaprabhu as his personal secretary. So Kaviraj Goswami decides in Madhya 2, second chapter or so, that he will give the essence of all of this. And it's around 70 verses. But then he lives on and writes more. And the conclusion of the Madhya Lila is of particular importance, because then the Antya Lila will come with the Rupa Goswami's Vidagdha Madhava slokas, many important things, culminating in the Shikshastakam. And so at the conclusion of Madhya Lila, it's very important to pay attention to what he's saying, and he's drawing a comparison between Gaur Lila and Krishna Lila. Because we might think that it is secondary, marginal, optional, or a particular set of pastimes that are glorious, but that's not what he's telling us. So when he says Krishna Lila Amrita Sar, he says Krishna Lila is the creme de la creme of nectarine substance. Right? And as Guru Maharaj tells us, it's reserved for the highest section of liberated souls. So if someone is honest and candid, then they assess their own position, they'll realize that is an impossible achievement. Right? It's saying it's for the highest section of liberated souls. We'll hear in Mahaprabhu's teachings to Rupa Goswami, and you say, Koti karma nishta madhye ek gyani shrestha. One gyani is better than 10 million karmis. Koti gyani durlabh madhye ek Krishna bhakt. And that's Koti mukta durlabh madhye. And then so many 10 million gyanis, one mukta, liberated personality. Then Koti mukta durlabh madhye ek, out of 10 million liberated souls, you might get one who could be properly assigned the term Krishna Bhakta. So you're thinking, 10 million karmi, 10 million. Then you think, what hope is there for people like us? Right? Even if we think, it's this wonderful thing as described, but we don't have, it's beyond the realm of possibility. Right? He's saying Krishna Lila is that. Right? Then what is Gaur Lila? Just another version of that? No, he's saying, no, what Gaur Lila is the magnanimous distribution of Krishna Lila. And he's saying, so that which is impossible, virtually impossible to attain, to achieve, is now being distributed in all directions. And what that means is, high, low, everything in between, qualified, unqualified. It's the magnanimous distribution of Krishna Lila. So then we have to think, because sometimes we'll think like, I like Radha and Krishna very much, and I'm very interested in those things, and I'm cultivating that. Is that the way to that? Or is that a product of the imagination, a hallucination, fiction? Right? So think of it in this way. What if, and not only what if they did, but Radha and Krishna, they decide to descend and distribute Krishna consciousness. Right? They have a plan for this. They should be the qualified persons to know what would be the best way to do it. They came previously and exhibited Krishna Lila. Now they are, it's multi-purpose. Right? Mahaprabhu, Krishna has some internal reason for his descent. But Guru Maharaj calls the descent of Radha and Krishna as Gaur and Gadadhar, their Acharya Lila. Right? As I said in the invocatory prayer from Prapanna Jivanamritam, Guru Rupa Harim Gauram Radha Ruchi Ruchavritam. Where it says, the Guru Rupa of Krishna, when Krishna takes the form of Guru, it's as Gaura, Gauranga, And who is Gauranga? Radha Ruchi Ruchavritam. Radha Bhavaduti Subalita. Krishna enveloped by the heart of Srimati Radharani, and its radiant Krishna Prem produces that halo. So Shama Sundar Krishna, like today the monsoon rain clouds are there, and you could get some indication. Ganasham, that some comparison is given. Right? But that's Shama Sundar Krishna, due to being enveloped by the heart of Srimati Radharani, he's become Gauranga. Gaura Anga, all of his limbs is all radiant. Prabhupada rendered it as molten gold. Like not just gold, but like when you melt, have you ever seen melted gold? It's like even more extraordinary and shiny, luminous, radiant. So they descend, and what is an impossible, virtually impossible achievement, they're distributing that. Right? Bahiranga Sangha Kori Nama Sankirtan, Antaranga Sangha Kori Rashashvadan. So in general, through Nam Sankirtan, sometimes Guru Maharaj would say the Nam Sankirtan is the Rasa Leela in distribution mode. Right? So they're giving entrance, but in this way. So Gaur Leela cannot be taken to be marginal, secondary, peripheral, optional, but it is the way. And from one of their group, Astasaki Tungavidya, descends in this world and appears as Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, Chaitanya Chandramritam, Yata Yata Gaura Padara Vinde, Vindeta Bhaktim Krita Punyarasi, Tata Tatot Sarpati Hridya Kasmat, Radha Padamboja Sudamburasi. And this is from the writer of the Radha Rasa Shuddhanidhi, saying, they give your full attention to the lotus feet of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And what will be the outcome? Automatically, subconsciously, deep from within the core of your heart, the Radha Rasa Shuddhanidhi will begin to flow. He says, and those who are Sukritivan, Sumedasa, they will perceive this. So it's consistent with what is expressed in the Bhagavatam. Yajanti hi Sumedasa. Krishna Varnam Tusha Krishnam Sango Pangastra Parshadam Yagye Sankirtana Pray Yajanti hi Sumedasa. The Sango Pangastra Parshadam. So as they descend, they're also bringing along with them their devotees, their entourage. And Guru Maharaj beautifully compared it to like hide and seek. Right? So that it's not obvious who's who. So Kavi Karnapur even wrote a book, Goro Gono Desha Deepika, like, who was this person in Krishna Lila is this person in Gaur Lila. And we see in Chaitanya Bhagavat, Charitamrita, and elsewhere how, and because it's under the influence of Yoga Maya as well, so that they're, in a sense, disguised. And how do they recognize them? Not by physicality, their physical features, but by certain devotional qualities and tendencies. Then they can discover who is there. And we're told in the case of Gauri Pandit that the cowherd boy Subal Saka of Vrindavan, that he's descended as Gauri Das Pandit. And that's Subal. Who is Subal? We're told the highest, their gradation everywhere and everything, the highest level of cowherd boys who take confidential messages between Radha and Krishna. He's the leader. And he is in this Ambika Kalna. We know from when you go from Kolkata to Navi, there's basically two ways you can go. One road, you'll end up like Shantipur, Krishnanagar, that way. And then if you go this other side, you go Ambika Kalna. And that's where Gauridas Pandit was. So it's incredible to think when you're riding by, like what happened in this particular place. But that's the nature of the Dham and Gaurumandal and going by, you can have some remembrance, you know, or stop and give some dandavat, some respect, and there are temples. But there, we're told that he had the deities of Gaur and Nityananda. And Gaur and Nityananda also came to visit him. Right? And when it was time for Gaur and Nityananda to leave, it was bringing about unbearable separation for him. And that's something we have to think about as well. For this level of devotees to be separated or to anticipate separation is unthinkable. Sometimes Kaviraj Goswami will say, I can't describe this. It's so pathetic in one sense, piteous, that it would melt stone if you could hear the wails and cries of the devotees anticipating separation. I can't. It's too disturbing to describe. But Gauridas Pandit, now Gaur and Nityananda are leaving, and he's beginning to express his heart, and Mahaprabhu is assuring that you have our deities, and the deity is non-different from us. You know that, you're of this level of devotee, so our deities are there. Now it's time for us we have pastimes to continue, but we're one and the same. And then Gauridas Pandit said, then if that's the case, then you and Nitai go on the altar, and then the deities can go. One and the same. So Mahaprabhu said, all right. And then Gaur and Nityananda, they become the deities, then the deities who, and then Guru Maharaj said, Gauridas Pandit said, oh, I'm a stupid man. You're doing some trick. Then Mahaprabhu was saying, all right, you decide. You decide who will stay and who will go. But when you think that Subal, we've heard from Srila Guru Maharaj that in the family line of Srimati Radharani, and so much so that although he's a boy, cowherd boy, he looks like her very much, which is inconceivable. You think, who is this personality who he looks like Srimati Radharani, but he's a cowherd boy. But this allows him to take a prominent position in particular pastimes. And Guru Maharaj said that once when, as we've heard, Rupa Goswami describes in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, that sometimes Radharani will see Subal and Krishna, they're hugging one another. And she's thinking, oh, Subal, you're very fortunate that, you can publicly hug Krishna. You must have done a lot of austerities to be able to achieve this position. Like Krita Punya Punya. Prabhupada liked that sloka a lot. It's in the 10th canto. But anyway, so Guru Maharaj said that one day when Krishna, and during the daytime feeling such intense separation from Srimati Radharani, remember Braja Gopis sometimes express that they would like to be cowherd boys. Because they're saying, the cowherd boys, they play with Krishna all day, and we're waiting for the evening for these. It would be so nice to be playing with Krishna in the forest in the daytime. So how special they are. But we're told this particular day, Krishna is feeling such intense separation and telling Subal to go get Radharani by any means possible. And so Subal goes to the house of Radharani, and the elders are there to see, oh, Subal, what brings you here at this time? He's saying, oh, I'm searching for one of the calves. We lost a calf, you know. And then he goes to see Radharani and saying, Krishna's feeling so much separation from you right now. He's losing his mind, his composure, what to do. And they exchange garments. Remember, Subal looks like her, so now he's dressed as Radharani with her dress and ornaments, and Radharani is now with a turban like a cowherd boy, and then with her cloth like this, holding like, oh, we found the calf, and they're like, oh, okay, and she leaves, and Subal's sitting in the room as Radharani. And then Radharani comes, and Krishna Hrishikesh has lost his senses. And Radharani playing a little joke, and Krishna in this condition, and he's saying, Subal, what happened? And Radharani as Subal saying, not possible. Right now it's just impossible to arrange. And he goes, oh no. And Radharani said, to test Krishna, he says, I could get Chandravali, she's available. And he said, no, you don't understand my heart. Only Radharani. What? Chandravali is nothing. Then Radharani is very happy and takes off the turban, and her hair comes down, and she says, don't you recognize your servitor? So Subal, how it's inconceivable, so high inconceivable, but how exalted a personality he is, and that he can play the role in these pastimes. He's the confidant of Krishna, confidant. And once one Maharaj had some idea along the lines of Prabhupada, Krishna Balaram in Vrindavan, but then he thought, so Krishna Balaram, and then Subal and Sridham. And they were presenting this idea to Srila Guru Maharaj, and they were saying, how should we show like Subal, and how should they be shown? And Guru Maharaj, he said, ready to fulfill the inner desires of Krishna. And there's like silence. They went, yes, but I mean, there will be, in a particular way, some gesture. How should we show them? And Guru Maharaj said, ready to fulfill the inner desires of Krishna. And they're going, but Guru Maharaj, how should their hands be shown? And he goes, that the Murtiwala would decide. But his concern was that they were shown ready to fulfill the inner desire of Krishna. And speaking of which, when we say Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jaina Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Shapandandikam, Srila Rupa Goswami, Prabhu Sri Rupa Manjari, the leader of the Sampradaya, Srila Gurudev, like to say, not Chaitanya Sampradaya, Rupanuga. This line. Although Sanatana Goswami is generally considered the leader of the six Goswamis and that their guru, So Rupa Goswami is revering Sanatan as Guru. Guru said. Sanatan is also expressed somewhere that, and I believe it's in the pages of Brihad Bhagavatamritam Tika, that he is Rupanuga, a follower of Sri Rupa. And Guru is saying, Raghunath Das, the best student in the Rupanuga line, because he so clearly expresses what's given by Rupa Goswami, but Das Goswami says very explicitly that the target is Radha Dasyam. So Srila Rupa Goswami, 10 days in Prayag, Mahaprabhu instructed him, where we have the Rupa Shiksha. And interestingly, see, we're told in the Ramananda Sambad that the more confidential seva and aspects of can only be given by the Sakis, right? Radharani's girlfriends, right? Like Tunga Vidya, etc. But who is Mahaprabhu hearing from? Ramananda, Vishaka Saki. So when he's instructing Sri Rupa, he's saying, and Sanatana, he's saying, what I'm telling you, this is what I heard from Ramananda. So Mahaprabhu's always maintaining his position as a devotee. And whenever his divinity is brought up, even by Sri Rupa, he's, say, ati stuti, kore, too much glorification. There's a lot of exaggeration in what you just said. He's always playing that down. He never, while he's in this mood and role and bhav of Radha bhav, he does not like to hear that he's the Supreme Lord, the source of these kind of things. So even in terms of the instruction he's giving, he's saying, I heard this from Ramananda, and I'm presenting it to you. How sweet and beautiful is that? Even when Pradyumna Misra in Antilila approaches him for Krishna Katha, and he's saying, Ami, Krishna Katha Jani Na. I don't know Krishna Katha. Ramananda, no, he's the person you should hear from. And you've got Krishna himself. Why is he persisting with this sort of thing, telling you, you can only really get Krishna consciousness from the devotee of Krishna? He never violates that. Right? And he himself, Guru Rupa Harim Gauram, when he's taking the role of Guru, he is as Gauranga Mahaprabhu, right? Under the influence of Radharani. She's the source of all Krishna consciousness, because he's Krishna, and she's conscious of Krishna, and extending consciousness of Krishna to others. And it's so delightful and charming and enchanting that Krishna's saying, I want to be Krishna conscious too. I'm Krishna, but I want to be Krishna conscious. Like you, like all of you. It seems to me what you're experiencing is 10 million times greater than what I'm experiencing, and I'm Rasa Raj Krishna. Right? So, when Kaviraj Goswami is presenting Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam, after the Bande Guruni Shabhaktan, Ishan Ishavatar, Tat Prakasham Tat Shakti, Shri Krishna Chaitanya Samyakam, and the prayers to Nityananda and Mahaprabhu, and then saying what was described in the Upanishads as Brahman, and then Paramatma, and then Bhagavan Sri Krishna, none other, Sri Chaitanya Dev, and he's the most superior representation of all of this. Right? Like Guru Maharaj says in his Jyotir Priti Tunum Hiranya Purusham, Who's the Hiranyapurush, the golden prince? Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Then the first, I guess, like what Gurudev would call an evidentiary sloka. He's building the platform, like the superstructure upon which Sri Chaitanya Charitamritam will be built. So after these few introductory, then Rupa Goswami. He's quoting Rupa Goswami and Srup Damodar. And from Rupa Goswami he says, it's that verse that when Mahaprabhu in the Antya Lila is introducing Rupa Goswami, Gurudev was hit. That's where he's indicating that he's the head of this line. And after me, there's Sri Rupa and the current of Sri Rupa. That it's Ramananda asking him about his play, Vidagdha Madhava, and the Nandi Sloka tells you what will be found there. But then when the Ishta Devata comes, who's your worshipable Lord, that's when Mahaprabhu was too much. It's exact, because he's saying, who's my worshipable Lord? Well, he's right here in front of all of us. It's Sachinandan, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's my worshipable Lord. He says, Anarpita charim chirat kornaya vatirna kalo samapartam smaitam unatodrala rasam swabhakti sriyam haripurata sundar duty kadamba sandipita sada hridaya kandare sparatu va sachinandana. Saying, so long time has passed since Krishna was here. But what he will be giving now, not even ever has this been given. And who is he? This son of Mother Sachi. He's not only distributing Madhura Rasa, but what he considers to be the most valuable. Right? What does it say? Unatodjvala Ujjvala Rasa. Right? Because it is what is in the heart of Srimati Radharani. That type of Krishna consciousness, Mahabhav, that has captured Krishna. And now he wants to bring everyone in connection with this divine substance. And what is it, the effect upon him? He says, Hari Purita Sundar Duty Kadamba Sandipita. Under the influence of the heart of Radharani, he appears like the Kadamba flower, which we've seen. They look like they are golden, saffron, radiant filaments, like standing at a tender or something. That's the hairs of Gauranga Mahaprabhu and Rupa Goswami. He looks like this glowing, illuminating, divine Kadamba flower that's just radiating the heart of Srimati Radharani with this type of Krishna consciousness. And he's saying, may that Lord appear deep in the core of your heart. Sada hridaya kandare spuratu va sachinandana. That's his response to, who's my worshipable Lord? Right? But that Rupa, we're told when, as we celebrated Rath Yatra recently, that which is really the principal pastime of Mahaprabhu and his associates. Again, it's not one of them or a wonderful one, it's the principal one. They meet every year for so many years to celebrate this. And what is it? The zenith point of separation. As Gurudev said, you want to understand Mahaprabhu? What is his tasting matter? Right? He's repeatedly relishing union and separation. He's mining the depths of separation. Bahye jalahoy bitare anandamoy Krishna premier adbhuta charit. So this is the wonderful, astonishing quality of Krishna Prem, that it reaches its zenith point in separation. That's where the heart achieves its greatest depth, and then it yields the most superior type of love. of prema. That is what is captured. As Krishna, he knows everything about union. Right? Lakshmi Sahasrasata Sambrahma Sevyamanam. He's Rasaraj. But the sort of depth of heart achieved and expressed by Srimati Radharani in separation, that has utterly astonished him and captured him and imbued in him the want to have the same experience. It's that astonishing. Right? So, and it seems impossible. We're told, we met Srup Damodar and Ramananda behind closed doors in the Gangabir, but how Mahaprabhu could express certain things publicly, in a sense, at the Rath Yatra, such deep devotional current, but it's not apparent to everyone. Right? Remember, when we hear they're singing, dancing, they're maddened in ecstasy, they're lost to the world, but we're told, Nityananda, sometimes he will look and see that Mahaprabhu not only feeling this way, but has literally become Radharani. He sees the form of Radharani dancing before Jagannath. Nityananda has that capacity. Certain other devotees do. But it's the most amazing thing because it's public, the most private thing being somehow expressed publicly, but only those with the eyes to see can see, or the hearts to understand. And there, we're told Mahaprabhu would sing this one song, and it appears to be a mundane love song. So everyone would wonder, like, why is Mahaprabhu singing that song? It's not apparently a devotional song, it's just a love song about a boy and a girl when they were teenagers, and now they're meeting again. How they first met, and now again. But remember, like when Gurudev would say, simple-hearted devotees, Mahaprabhu can sing whatever he wants. No one is disturbed by it, but it's just, they may not be able to explain it. But that's also a part of Krishna consciousness. Right? And as Guru Maharaj would say, if you have to ask why, you're not qualified to be in the soil. Right? So it's all part of it, and everyone's happy, but it's keeping confidential what he's actually expressing. That is the point of mentioning this. So, remember, Haridas Thakur cannot enter the Jagannath temple, neither can Rupa and Sanatan. And they live in the city of Gokul together, and Mahaprabhu comes and visits every day, and they have particular times they go and bathe. And we're told that Rupa Goswami wrote one sloka. They used to scribe, I guess, on bamboo. And he takes that and just sort of stuck it in the roof, and went to bathe. Then Mahaprabhu comes to visit Haridas Thakur. And then see this sloka, the little bamboo spear. It's hard to describe, but if you've seen them, they have a way of cutting bamboo and turning it in these long pages. Mahaprabhu pulls, and he sees what Rupa has written. And what he's written is, that song that Mahaprabhu sings, that Srup Damodar can understand, no one else can understand. Rupa Goswami is saying, that boy, the girl is Radharani, the boy is Krishna, the river is the Jamuna, it's this time of and the season, and he's revealing everything for everyone, Priya Soyam Krishna, etc. Right? And when Mahaprabhu sees this, he's surprised and shocked. And when Rupa comes back, we're told Mahaprabhu gives him like a love tap and says, "What are you doing? Like, why are you telling everybody?" Like when Gurudev told Guru Maharaj about his Gayatri explanation, maybe not to tell everyone. Because he's not, it's so high, so wonderful, so confidential. And Guru Maharaj said, if I don't, it was already there in Sanskrit, but that more or less kept it hidden. But then by explaining it in English, it came out, and he gave me permission to publish it. But it reminded me a little bit of that. But so Mahaprabhu, from one point of view, he appears to be chastising him a little bit, but not really. And he says to Swarup Damodar, like, how, no one knows this except you and I. Right? Like Guru Maharaj writes, Sri Gauranumatam Swarupa Viditam. Rupa himself writes, Swarupam Bibrano Jagatatulyam, the incomparable Swarup Damodar, Mahaprabhu Dutiya Kalevar. Right? So Mahaprabhu was saying, how can he know these? Really, my heart, well, the private property of my heart. And Swarup Damodar always says the perfect thing, says, you must have revealed it to him. That's the only way. You must have, empowered him to understand this. And that's what we're talking about, this transmission and recognition. In other words, another way of putting this, Sri Rupa knows the heart, what's in the heart of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Guru Maharaj will say, Rupa Goswami, what we find in the Upadeshamritam is Mahaprabhu speaking through Sri Rupa. Right? And so in so many ways, Sri Rupa is the leader of the juniors. When I once said to Guru, I was going over some things internally, and I was saying about what is the highest achievement of a jiva soul? What would be the highest thing possible? And my thing, I said to Guru Maharaj, I said, the third position. And Guru Maharaj immediately, he said fifth. And I went, oh, because I wasn't counting Radha and Krishna. But so I said 3, and he said, no, 5. And what he meant, Radha and Krishna, then the next, Lalita Vishaka, then Rupa and Radha, Sri Rupa, and then those who could be assistants of Sri Rupa. So Sri Rupa, the leader of the junior section. So I said, then the highest possible achievement of a jiva soul would be to be their assistant. Like Guru Maharaj says in the Mat Pranam, Sri Rupa, Kritimati, Guru Gauranga Radha Jitasha, which echoes the sentiments expressed by Das Goswami, Prapto Jasya Pratita Kripaya Sri Radhika Madhavasam. Namashrestha Manamapi Sachi Putra Atra Swarupam Rupam Tasya Graja Madhupurim Amaturim Goswami Radha Kundam Giri Baramaho Radhika Madhavasam. There. That aspiration in the Rupa Nuga line. And in that Upadeshamritam, Srila Rupa Goswami has Vaikuntaj Janito Vara Madhupuri. Remember, Guru Maharaj, his ontological method is about gradation. Ramananda Samban is about gradation. The Brihad Bhagavatamritam is about gradation, showing there's this level of devotion, this is superior, superior, higher, deeper, like that. The Upadeshamritam is about gradation. And here it says, Vaikunta. And you know, Sanatana Goswami, the Bhakti Siddhanta Acharya and Brihad Bhagavatamritam is just going step by step by step by step, you know, to this particular conclusion. Asamaho charanarenu jashamaha, this aspiration for an atomic presence in that plane where Radharani and Brajagopis are, it's a Radha Dasyam aspiration. But he's going step by step by step. Rupa Goswami, said, he leapt in one step from Vaikuntha to Mathura, right? That means, in a sense, bypassing everything along the way, almost revealing some sort of intense eagerness or intensity. Vaikuntaj janito bara madhupuri, superior to Vaikuntha, he says, is Mathura, which is sometimes called Madhupuri, like in the Raghupati Upadhyaya sloka, as the supreme abode, right? Madhu means sweet, like Madhura, the land of sweetness. Gur, Gaudiya, Gauriya. So Vaikuntaj janito bara madhupuri, because there are no birth pastimes in Vaikuntha. He's born in Mathura. And he's bypassing Ayodhya. He's in Mathura. That's Krishna's born Mathura, Madhupuri. But there's Mathura Mando, Madhupuri, Tatrapi Rasotsavad. And that's within that, that's where this rasa, the utsav, the rasa lila will take place. And he says, Brindaranyam Udarapani Ramana Tatrapi Govardhana. So now to Vrindavan. Right? Same, and Saraswati Thakur has a similar verse. Vrindavana hoite shrestha, Govardhana Srila, Gandharvika Giridhari Jata Kridda Koila. That Govardhana is superior to Vrindavan. Right? There are superior pastimes there. Right? The Braja Gopis, when they're praising Govardhan, saying, Hantaya Madhya Labala Haridasa Bharja, it's very interesting. They say, you are the best Haridas. Like, you're the best Krishna Das. Saying, well, wait, I thought Govardhan is Krishna. But Krishna in the mood of a servitor. So Guru Maharaj said there's a parallel between Giriraj and Mahaprabhu. Anta Krishna Bahir Gauram Darshitangari Vaibhavam. Internally Krishna, but externally in this mood of a devotee. So Govardhan, how serving, and Balaram in a few days will come and save us. Right? Rama Krishna Charana Sparasha, happily at the touch of the lotus feet of Krishna and Balaram and all their cows. And the gopis, they always say that, other things first, and then they make some mention that there are sweet waters there, and there are also caves for these confidential pastimes described in other places. So, Govardhan superior pastimes to, and then it says, Radha Kundam, Ihapi Gokula Pate, Premamritam Plavanat. And Radha Kunda is a flood of Krishna Prem there. Sometimes Guru Maharaj would say, Radharani in liquid form. So we should not conceive of it as, in the conventional sense, as water, but as the waters of her plane of self-giving and self-sacrifice. But then, so he says, Radha Kundam, Ihapi Gokulapate, Premamritam Plavanat. Then Kuryad Asya Virajato Giri Tate. What did they say? Sevam Viveki Naka. The viveki means those who are very discriminating, and they see the finest thing and the target clearly. And he's saying, who among the viveki, those who are discriminating, would not want to get the service and giritata in Govardhan? This is Rupa Goswami. Raghunath Das Goswami, Nija Nikata Nivasa Dehi Govardhanatvam. Saraswati Thakur, I want to spend my final days in Govardhan. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada saying, take me to Govardhan. Guru, all consistently help me go. But wait, isn't Radha Kund being promoted? Govardhan, the servitors, they reside in Govardhan. They go to Kusum Sarovara and collect flowers and go to Radha Kunda for this confidential seva, and they return to Govardhan. So, Srila Rupa Goswami, very beautifully expressing these things. And the Upadeshamritam, he writes the science of devotion, the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, like the book on devotion. And what to speak of these, the Vidagdha Madhav, Lalita Madhava, Hansa Duta, and so many beautiful slokas that are found in his works. Some presented in the inverted form, like the famous where he's saying, if you want to remain attached to your family, this world, and the things in this world, do not go to see the Tribhanga Lalita, the threefold bending form of Govinda on the back. Don't do that. Because if you do, if you have a glimpse of the beauty of Krishna on the banks of the Jamuna, you won't care for anything or anyone in this world. So don't do that. I'm telling you strongly. That's one method. And you say, well, maybe I'll just go and have a look at how to entice. And from it, and Rupa Goswami writes live stream Leela. It's not something happened and then he writes about it. He writes reality. Reality comes out of his pen. Right? Live streaming Leela comes out of the pen of Rupa Goswami. Right? And from the mouths of, Purnamasi, we told the other day about Tunde Tandavinimritim Britanute Tundavali Labdye, Mahaprabhu saying the sloka that makes everyone happy about the glories of the holy name of Krishna. The tongue desiring, the heart wanting millions of tongues that taste the sweetness, millions of ears to capture the nectarine sound. The flute of Krishna, right? That the verse describing the flute of Krishna, it also comes from Rupa Goswami. Rundaman bubitas chamatkati param kurvam bhustumbaram. In the Chaitanya Charitamritam, again, where Kaviraj Goswami is saying, how did Mahaprabhu come about? How did this happen? Why did Krishna descend in this way? Of course, the Chaitanyastakam of Rupa Goswami. Aparam kasyapi pranayi janavindasya kutuki rasotstamam ritva madhuram upabhoktam kamapiya rucham swam avavredutam iha tadiyam sad chaitanya devaskritir atitaram na kripayatu. The Krishna surveying in the Rasa Leela, anywhere from billions to trillions of inconceivably qualified gopis, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa, Right? And one of them completely captures the curiosity of Krishna by absenting herself from there. And the whole flow taste, everything goes down in the absence of one, a trillion minus one, and the quality is totally changed. So it means she has trillion-fold qualities of the others who are inconceivably qualified. And Rupa Goswami used the word kutuki, saying that awakened the curiosity in Krishna. And then something that I'd only heard Guru Maharaj say, when Guru Maharaj would say, he would say, Maharaj, he's plundered the heart and halo of Radharani. He's forcibly taking that. And then I thought, what if someone says to me, like, Srila Maharaj says that, anywhere you can give any support to that? Ritva Madhuram Upabhoktam Kamaviya. It's there in the sloka of Rupa Goswami saying, he steals, because implying that she will not give this willingly. All these things revealed by Rupa Goswami. And he's saying, let that, and now, Ritva Madhuram Upabhoktam Kamaviya, Rucham Swam Abhabre, like Guru Maharaj says, Ruchira Ruchavritam. The beauty, ruchi means the taste and simultaneously the beauty. And you can see Guru Maharaj extracting from the poetry of Rupa Goswami in his own poetry, proving he's a true Rupanugadhara, carrying that current. So, and Rupa Goswami saying this, Sri Chaitanya Devaskritira Titaram Na Kripatu. May he bestow his blessings upon everyone. Namo Mahavadanaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauratasai Namaha. It's the blessing of Srila Rupa Goswami. Hare Krishna. So, we can sing Narottam song. Well, both, maybe. Narottam Thakur, he wrote this most important song that we're told. Srila Saraswati Thakur called Srila Guru Maharaj to his bedside 24 hours from his departure from this world and wanted to hear from his lips Sri Rupa Manjari Pada. And Guru Maharaj, like Rupa Goswami, hesitating in the background. Another devotee began singing, who is a well-known Kirtaniya, and Saraswati Thakur was telling me, he said, I don't want to hear a sweet tune, I want to hear only from his lips. In other words, that Srila Guru Maharaj realized the content of this song. Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, Say Mora Sampada. Sri Rupa Manjari Pada, Say Mora Sampada. Say Mora Bhajana Pujana. Say Mora Bhajana Pujana. Say Mora Pranadana. Say Mora Abharana. Say Mora Pranadana. Say Mora Abharana. Say Mora Jivanera Jivan. Say Mora Jivanera Jivan. Say Mora Rasa Nidhi. Say Mora Vancha Siddhi. Say Mora Rasa Nidhi. Say Mora Vancha Siddhi. Say Mora Vedera Dharama. Say Mora Vedera Dharama. Say Vrata, say Tapa. Say Mora Mantra Japa. Say Vrata, say Tapa. Say Mora Mantra Japa. de hoibe siddhi
Anukula hove vidhi Sevare hoibe siddhi
Nirakibo ei dvinayane
Nirakibo ei dvinayane
Se rupa madhuri rasi Prana kubalaya shashi
Serupa madhuri rasi Prana kubalaya shashi
Prafulito hobe nisidine
Prafulita hobe nisidine
Tua adarshana ahi Gorole jarolo dehi
Tuya darshanahi Gorole jarolo dehi
Chirodin tapito jivan
Chirodina tapita divana
Haha rupa koro doya Deho more padachaya
Aharupa karadaya Deho more parachaya
Narotamo loilo sharana
Narottama Roilo Sharana
Jayanilo premadana Koruna prachu
Jayani Lopremadana Karuna Prachura
Heno Prabhu Gota Gela Charjataku
Hena Prabhu Kota Gela Acharya Thakur
Kahan Moda Swarup Rupa Kahan Sanatan
Kahan Mora Sarup Rupa Kahan Sanatan
Kahadasa Raghunata Pakita Pavan
Kahara Saragunala Patita Pavan
Kahan Moda Bhatta Juga Kaha Kavira
Kahan Mora Bhatta Juga Kahan Kavira
Eka Kale Kota Gela Gaurana Tara
Ekantale Kota Gela Doranantara
Pashane Kutibo Mata Anale Pashibo
Pashane Kudibo Madra Anare Pashivo
Gauranga Gunera Nidhi Kota Gele Pabo
Goranga Kunera Niti Tota Gela
Shesaba Sangira Sange Je Koelo Bila Sangana Paya Kande Narotamoda
Seshanganapaya Kande Narottamada
Hari Harai Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha
Hare Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha
Hari Harai Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha
Hare Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Namaha
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namo
Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Namaha
Gopal Govinda Ram Sri Madhusudan
Gopal Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan
Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan
Giridhari Gopinath Madana Mohan
Sri Chaitanya Nityananda Sri Advaita Chandra
Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Chandra
Gadadhara Srivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Radhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda
Jai Sri Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath
Jai Rupa Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath
Sri Deva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath
Sri Deva Gopala Bhatta Dasa Raghunath
Jai Go Jai Kori Charana Bandhan
Jai Gosai Gauri Charana Bandhan
Jaha Hoite Vignash Abhishta Puran
Jaha Hoite Vignash Abhishta Puran
Jai Go Jai Jar Jab Mui Taro Das
Jai Gosai Jamuri Dhandadas
Kansavada Pada Renu Mora Panchagras
Kasavara Padarenu Mura Panchagras
Dandera Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanevas
Dandara Charana Sevi Bhakta Sanevas
Janame More Abhilas
Janame Janame More Abhilas
Jai Go Jai Jabe Braje Koilovas
Jai Gosai Jai Bhajan Kolavas
Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Korilo Prakash
Radha Krishna Nitya Lila Gorila Prakash
Anande Bolo Hari Bhaja Vrindavan
Anande Bhava Hari Bhaja Vrindavan
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Bhajai Aman
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pade Bhajai Aman
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyan
Shri Guru Vaishnava Pad Padma Koriyan
Harinam Sankirtan Kohe Narottamada
Harinam Sankirtan Kohe Narottamada
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Rama Hare
Jai Gaura Hari Bo Gaura Hari Bo
Jai Gaura Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Jai Gaura Hari Bo
Jai Gaura Jai Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhu Tiro Bhav Titi Ki Jai Srila Gauridas Pandit Titi Ki Jai Tiro Bhav Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajaka Asatera Sada Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sudhir Govinda Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Srila Bhakti Rakak Sridhar Dev Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Bhagavan Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai Jai Saparikar Shri Sri Guru Gauranga Gandharva Govinda Sundar Ju Ki Jai Shri Giriraj Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Rupa Anuga Guru Varga Ki Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Bhattu Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Sad Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Govinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Navadip Dham Ki Jai Shri Gupta Govardhan Ki Jai Ganga Devi Jamuna Devi Bhakti Devi Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Mat Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Vishva Varenya Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Shri Chaitanya Saraswat Madhacharya Vrinda Ki Jai Jai Srila Bhakti Bimalavadut Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Srila Bhakti Ranjan Madhusudan Maharaj Ki Jai Jai Shri Bhakti Lalita Devi Dasi Ki Jai Seva Vrinda Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Nitai Go Premanande
Jai Vishnu Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna.
In Maharaj Dandavats from Leela Sundari Didi, Australia, Krishna Sharan Prabhu, then Anjali Devi, Dandavats Gurudev from Ukraine. We are on Festival of Yoga by trying to share your beautiful message. Remembering about your great preaching tours around the world in difficult times. Accept please our Dandavats. Sri Haridas Prabhu, Brazil, Madhu Krishna Didi, Dhananjay Prabhu, Rome, Lakshmi Priya Didi. First time in my life I saw a Maharaj. That was Srila Goswami Maharaj. And I just stuck in. Since then I practice Krishna consciousness, Bhakti Yoga. My obeisances, Dandavat. Tarmoy Didi, then Madhava Priya Didi, Dandavats Pranams, Srila Bhakti Sudhir Goswami Maharaj, Bhakti Lalita and everyone present. Rasananda Prabhu, Sochi, Tapananandini Didi, Tarulata Didi, Belarus, Ishanuga Didi, London, Audarya Leela Didi, Suchitra Didi, Eram A, Ashapurna Didi, Roberta Sanchez, then Kshamabhuti Prabhu. It's hard to grasp that it was almost 40 years ago. I was one of the faces in the audience of Goswami Maharaj. I am very grateful for what he gave me and the whole world by bringing Srila Sridhar Maharaj to the whole world. The gods wish they had this much spiritual credit to their name.
Hare Krishna.
Sri Haridas Prabhu, Brazil, is saying, whenever Srila Goswami Maharaj describes his pastimes beside Srila Sridhar Maharaj and Srila Govinda Maharaj, it's like he takes us there with him. I'm very thankful for the blessing of watching his class. Hare Krishna. Leela Sundar Prabhu from Kiev Temple, Madhu Mangal Prabhu, and Praneshwari Didi, Jai Nitai, thanks for your instructions. Humble pranams to you and the assembled devotees on site and online. Dandavat pranams devotees from Oscar Dominguez Lope.
Vancha Khabachuriyas Chakripal Sindhu Veva Chapititanam Pavanevyo Vaishnaveva Namo Namaha.